we're going to illustrate the Series 2 adapter for the M1 Garand or the M14 or the M1A Springfield rifles, that series of rifles that takes the same trigger setup. This is your trigger sear face. This is your hammer. And this is the way it hooks together when the hammer's cocked. This top face here is for your disconnector, so generally you don't want to fool with that, and you'll get in more trouble messing with it than anything else. So what we want to do, if the hammer's camming to the rear and the trigger's real heavy, we want to smooth the trigger face and possibly change the angle to make it a little bit lighter. Now we don't have a fixture to change the angle of these hammer hooks. Now generally they're alright, they just need to be smoothed up, so you can do that very carefully, free-handed with a very small stone. But don't change the angle there. So all we're going to work on is this trigger face right here, the sear face of the trigger. So we're going to put the adapter on. You see we got a little bit of help. We got a mark back here marked S. So all we have to do is place this on the universal stoning fixture and put that S mark exactly on this center line right here. So what we do, we automatically start 20 clicks up. We insert the Allen wrench, which is the ball end, and you put the adapter on it, rotate it. Now you see what we're trying to do. We're trying to line up this mark here with this center line as close as we can get it right there. So we got that mark lined up. As it lined up, you tighten it pretty tight. Okay, that's the position of your adapter on the elevator. Now you tighten your locking knob, you put the trigger on it, and if you look at your instructions, you'll see the trigger goes on this pin and pivots around like this. So you have to hold the trigger that way and against your adapter, like that. Now you put the stone on there. Okay, that's close enough for checking it. So there's your stone, see that? Now we look underneath the stone, and a lot of times you can hold it up to the light or with a white background, and you look at the angle that the stone's trying to stone the face of that sear hook, and you'll see that it's a little bit off. You can see that with your eye, so that's on this particular one. Now the other ones will vary. So what we got to do is come up a few clicks. So we loosen the locking knob, we come up to about 4 clicks. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. That raised this, tighten your locking knob. All right, put that on there. Be sure your trigger's held back. Put your stone in there. Check it. Now we're a little bit less than what the factory angle was. We're a little bit less. That's too much. So we came up too much. I'm just looking at the mark on the ink, so we got to go back down. 3, 4. That's basically where we was. So sometimes it pays to look at what you're doing all the time, really. So you hold that up and you look at it, and we look at it to see where we're at. Now I can see, now that's a little bit neutral. We need to go down on this one, because the daylight that cracks towards this direction is a wider crack, so we need to go down instead of up. So we go down about 4 clicks, maybe 5 just for the heck of it. Tighten the knob, put this back on it, hold the trigger. Now, you can see it from there, but I have to look at it, so I got to turn it up the other way. All right, now I'm a little bit undercut. So we're going to come back up a couple clicks. 1, 2. Tighten knob. Now there we are right there. That's awful close to the factory angle. So that's the factory angle. Took off all the dicum, or took it off all on this side very even, so that means that's cut at a little bit of an angle, but that's your factory angle. So we want the trigger pull to be a little bit lighter, so that means we loosen our locking knob over here for the elevator, and we come up on this elevator
Wheel,
which is got the clicks on it, and we need to know exactly what we have when we put it together. So we need to go ahead and stone it all the way across. We stone it all the way across, the whole way, assemble it, and then check it. And if the trigger pull is still too heavy, we got to make this angle a little bit duller than what it is. So that means we come up on the elevator. If we want the trigger face polished smooth and we got the angle we want there, we can use the steel with some fine emery paper on it. Now you can go a lot finer emery paper than this, and you put it over there and you do it just like you do the stone. You can polish that. You can change the angle, but I'd recommend only using this for polishing, because if you try to remove too much metal, the paper does not cut near as flat as the stone. So it's good for polishing, but when you want to really remove the metal to get a good trigger job, the right angle, you can stone it, and then if you want to, you can polish it with fine emery paper with the steel. So through trial and error, this is a setup for the M1 Garand M14 M1A.